Hello, everyone. We're back in another video. So this time we're going to dive a little deeper with Hermes agent. The last time we had a quick introduction on how to set it up and run a quick command. This time we're going to dive a little bit deeper into Hermes and study the problems that exist that nobody talks about. Anyways, so we know that Hermes is an open source. It's pretty much like OpenClaw, but it has many differences, incredible differences that is. And this thing has been reaping like 90 plus stars. I mean, this thing is amazing. I mean, most people are calling it like a coding assistant. It's not, it's something different. And we're going to explore how it's different shortly. I mean, the main question is, what is Hermes agent? So first of all, it's free, it's open source, and it's developed by a company called No Research. It's a lab, AI lab. You install it in your own computer or a cheap server, and it stays there. It's basically yours. Okay, the simplest way to understand it is, you know how ChatGPT just forgets everything the moment you close the tab. Okay, maybe there are some ways around memory, but it wasn't made with that purpose in mind. Hermes is different. It remembers everything, learns from every task you give it, and gets better with time. And it works across like 18 different platforms like Telegram, WhatsApp, email, whatever. You can talk to it from any of these mediums that I've just mentioned. Of course, there are like 40, 18. Yeah, 18. And it's the same agent across all, like no matter where you reach out to it from. So the new research actually call it the agent that grows with you. And this is not a marketing thing. This is actually literal. It actually grows with you. So this is really incredible. Now let's dive into the architecture of it. Like I've actually made up a diagram that kind of, summarizes the whole thing. As you can see, there are three boxes here, and you have memory, which is everything Hermes knows about you. You got the skills, everything it knows how to do, and the models, the AI brains powering it. You can swap the brain anytime you like. So everything sits on the Hermes core, which is the part that connects all of them and routes your requests. Now, below these is what we call the platforms, Telegram, WhatsApp, Discord, email, whatever. So, whatever is talking to it, whatever you're talking to it from. And below it is the back end. So, this is where it actually runs on. So, your laptop, your server, whatever. So, looking at this, yeah. So, the first thing it learns from your tasks. So when you give Hermes a complicated task, a set of procedures that it needs to run, um, you know, um, it can make some mistakes, it learns, and so on and so forth. It doesn't just finish and move on. It writes down what it learned in a small file called a skill. Next time you ask for something similar, it already knows how to do it. You don't have to explain it again. Think of it like training a new employee. The first time you explain a process, they write it down. After that, they just do it. So, and it remembers you in two ways. So the first way, it keeps it short, clean list of important facts about you and your projects, and uses that in every conversation. The second way is the honcho. So this is interesting. This is where it gets really interesting. Honcho doesn't just remember facts, it builds a model of how you think, your communication style, how you like to work, what matters to you. It builds up a picture of who you are across every conversation. There's a full text search over all your past sessions, so you can go back to any previous conversation or work you've already had. Now, thirdly, which is this is something also very important, you're not locked in into one AI. Most tools out there lock you in, but Hermes works with like 20 plus providers, 200 plus models, Claude, GPT, DeepSeek, Olama, you name it. Yeah, no setup, no migration. You can change midway, no problems. And I've made another diagram here. This diagram shows those same three ideas more visually. So on the left hand side, you got like a learning loop. See the five circles? That's the cycle. You give it a task, Hermes runs it, reviews itself, saves a skill, and uses that skill every time. So this cycle keeps going around, you know? And in the middle, you got the two memory layers we talked about. The top box is the simple one, a clean list of facts about you. The bottom is the honcho, a deep system that models how we think, not just what you've said. And on the right hand side, the model options. All these circles around the center, Claude GPT, Gemini, Olama, they're all connected to the same Hermes core. You pick whichever you like, and you can change midway, mid journey, whatever. It doesn't really matter. So they don't really lock you in. So that's the best part about it. And of course, we've seen in the last video how to actually run this. And if we take a look, if we go Hermes setup, we do like the quick setup here, and then we can set up the model that we want to use with, Hermes. And I'll explain. There's some information that I need to say about this, but I'll just say them shortly. I've already set up, Claude with this. You can set up multiple models, and also after this step is the communication channel that you want to use, email, telegram, whatever channel that you want to use. There's something I want to show you. If we go to Hermes, we will be presented with the Hermes page itself. Now, I've already run a few commands before, and it always remembers what you've done. So let's say, for example, how is Bitcoin doing and what's happening? Let's run this and see the processes that take place. As you can see, it's running Opus, Claude. It's checking the current price and news. It goes on to actually retrieve that information. And the best thing, it navigates to it. And if it didn't succeed, tries again and keeps it trying until it gets you the right answer. And, you also can run, a task like, for example, you can always run this at 8 a.m., for example, every morning, every Monday morning. So it automatically sets the schedule and it automatically runs for you. And there are like 47 ready-made skills packed. You can install any things like research tools, writing tools, coding. You can write your own, of course, and share them in agentskill.io, which we'll explore more about later. And of course, you can even ask it to split like huge jobs between different agents, multiple agents at the same time. As you can see, the results is already here. And you can see like the news, it gave me the summary of what's happened, and you get an idea. So you can imagine this running on multiple tasks you do on a daily basis or every week, every year, whatever, and it does it for you. But here's the problem. Here's the part that I need to be honest about. You know, we talked about these cool goodies and all that, but there are a few things that you have to keep in mind. Hermes grades its own work to decide which skill to save. The problem is it tends to think it did a good job, even when it didn't. So sometimes it saves a bad skill as if it were a good one. So the whole grows with you feature can backfire if you're not, checking its work. So you need to always keep tabs on it. Problem number two, it actually can override skills you edited by hand. If you spend time customizing a certain skill and automatic update can wipe it off. That's a real frustration. The third problem is Hermes running properly isn't just clicking install. You will deal with different configurations, configuring files, choosing a server, managing costs, this is a big problem that I want to talk about. When we talked about the setup and we mentioned different AI models that you can use, cost can surprise you, like really surprise you. Every message you send includes your full conversation history. Depending on which AI model you pick, this adds up. So keep an eye on it. I know it's appealing. Of course, we will, explore this later on. There's something called the pool where we can configure multiple AI models, and then there are different strategies implemented with Hermes that decides which model to use and which says that it would manage your costs. So for everyday tasks, use a smaller, cheaper, a small cheap model. and save the powerful models like, Claude, whatever, you know, just to keep your cost manageable. And check this saved skills regularly, because the self-grading isn't perfect. Bad skills can pile up. Delete the ones that aren't working, of course, and think of it like cleaning a folder or whatever every week or so. Keep your conversation focused, short, specific tasks, you know, produce better skills. So, long chatters, long rambling sessions will just confuse the skill. So give it time. I mean, Hermes improves with more. I mean, the more you use it, the better it improves. So take your time. And for years, AI tools have either been a chat bot or a coding assistant. You open them, ask them something, close them, they don't know you. Hermes is trying to be a third thing, like an agent that lives with you on your computer, on your phone, learning how you work, building up knowledge over time. Whether Hermes is the one that wins or someone else builds something better, this category is coming. So you better get comfortable with it, And, I hope you find this series of videos useful. And I'll be publishing these diagrams that I've talked about in my Twitter account. Feel free to tune in. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And stay tuned for more on him. Have a good day.